scientific societies are as yet in their infancy, it is to be expected that advances in physiology and psychology will give governments much more control over individual mentality than they have now, even in totalitarian countries. Fitch laid it down that education should aim at destroying free will, so that, after pupils have left school, they shall be incapable, throughout the rest of their lives, of thinking or acting otherwise than as their schoolmasters would have wished. Diet, injections, and injunctions will combine from a very early age to produce the sort of character and the sort of beliefs that the authorities consider desirable. And any serious criticism of the powers that be will become psychologically impossible.
Speak out and say, hey, look, the side effects alone from these, not only vaccines, but medications that we give you people have a more likely death success rate as to a curing success rate.
They study that in school, and especially, in Montreal where you are?
Yeah, McGill, yeah.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like we learned it when we went to nursing school. And you got to go to university to go to nursing school. Mm-hmm. And some of our classes we take are with residents, physicians, training. Our last year is with them when they do their first year. And they teach us about, like, the negative side effects for a lot of medications. And I would just sit there in class, and I would be like, I'm surrounded by 40 sheeple.
Wow.
Because I'm asking the professor, like, okay, well, then why are people taking this then? Well, it cures them. No, it doesn't cure them. They have a higher chance of dying from this shit or getting addicted to this stuff as opposed to, being cured. And the professor would be like, well, it's a judgment call you got to take. I was like, yeah, but they don't even tell you about the negative side effects.
Yeah, it's interesting because, like I said, my what I would like to do, ultimately, and we definitely will arrange it in a future show, is my sister-in-law is actually a nurse. Mm-hmm. She became a nurse at 40. I got to give her credit. She went to school. At 40 she decided to go to school and took her 4 years and she became a nurse. And I've really not quite delved into a lot of this with her, but it would be interesting the differences between your education and the way it was taught to you, and again, the questions you had. And I know she's a sheep, so she would just look at it and just like shrug it off, or believe it or not, knowing her, it would be like, well, so what, as if like, again, unfortunately, people don't see, like, I don't know, you see tyranny all day long, you see people mm-hmm. getting blown away in the streets, you watch the news, you watch these violent movies, Scarface and all this other shit, and how could you not be like desensitized to it?
Yeah, exactly. I don't understand that.
But humanity in general is good. Like that. I don't know if you in Canada, you folks saw the guy that was hit by his motorcycle got hit by a BMW and burst into flames, and he was under the car. And one by one, they picked him up. That's humanity.
Exactly, and they failed the first time, and they tried again.
Exactly, but they didn't. But that was the whole point. That is humanity. That is what we're talking about. That is how people really are good. I mean, there's no other way to put it. These people are like the evil. I mean, how can you use? I mean, if you've done any research about as of course you have, you know, the Luciferian elements to the New World Order, and the connections. Forget about the Masonic connections, just the, you know, the Order of the Golden Dawn, and Aleister Crowley, and the Book of the Dead, and all of these forces using evil. The forces are there. They're around us all the time. It's how you use them. And
exactly.
That's the point. But you don't need to conjure up good.
No, because that's natural.
Correct, sir. Exactly. We have to understand that these conjurers of evil are conjuring. So, of course, it appears that they have more power. It appears that they're superior. But in essence, they're defying nature, like these globalists with the global warming fraud, and meanwhile they poison the environment with chemtrails, they poison the water with fluoride and radioactive isotopes. We know.
I liken it to this.
That's the insidiousness.
I liken it to this. Like, if you have a piece of metal in your arm, for instance, your body will reject it. You know, it will grow a bubble around it, and it will
expel it. It will expel
it.
Exactly.
And the more that they deal and delve into the Luciferian evil aspect of it, the more eventually it's just going to get pushed out, and it's going to backfire on them.
Yeah, but Chris, you sound like a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, Jesus, am I?
That's like the crazy thing, that whole like conspiracy theorist. You're a conspiracy theorist. I mean, God, it's so tired. I'm so tired of hearing it. These sheep, they you know, that's all they can say. They can't even pick up a book, let alone just look online, because most of the stuff is posted. I mean, you can go to the Rockefeller Foundation 1968 documents and see right there where they're pumping these vaccines with sterilants. That's their plan. And then, and then years later, I forget the year. I think it was 86 or 85 or something like that. Where it says it looks as though we're at the point where we can implement this. So now, of course,
just check out the early 20th century.
Oh,
in
forget
England
about, of course,
with the polio vaccine.
Exactly, the initials of the. Yes, it goes on, and the eugenics, the whole movement. Now eugenics becomes transhumanism with these insane lunatics like Bill Gates and Ray Kurzweil. Yeah. Well, of course, technology, you know, but it's a good cover story. I mean, it's so funny, and they gave it away, like, you know, and like you watch a movie on '76, like Logan's Run, and I was a little kid, and I said, wow, what a dumb story. Who would think that you would be like shooting people in like this arena because they're 30 years old or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
You know, and you don't understand what it really how the mind control has worked, and then you tell people, and they're like, "You're a nut. You're crazy." But it's so obvious. How many examples in films can you give? Now, of course, we have Contagion, right?
Oh yeah, and right there, you know, that's a fear-mongering movie, right there.
Oh my God, Machete, Machete for border violence. That the Mexicans are being oppressed. You know, so that you get like some sort of uprising. I mean, they're looking for martial law in America so bad. What's going on in Canada, man? Give me a little insight about what don't I know about Canada? Because, you know, quite frankly, you're not covered, my friends. I don't hear anything about Canada. I have to look for Canada.
Canada, you know what? It has changed, Howard, the last few years. You know, people were starting to, en masse, I guess you could say, wake up and starting to, you know, there were rumblings of revolutions and riots, and then all of a sudden it just quieted down once the new Democratic Party started getting more seats in the parliament.
So they're still lost in that like left-right false paradigm that they...
Definitely.
Yeah. Oh.
Definitely. But again, we like in the truth movement here in Canada, particularly in Montreal, you know, we had a huge infiltration problem where we had, you know, tens of thousands of members of the 9/11 Truth Movement, and then it got infiltrated, like all, you know, organizations eventually do, and then it just broke up into a bunch of little fractions, and then slowly but surely, truth seekers just started going their own way. There was no unity left; it was gone.
Wow.
And the people who infiltrated it, like this guy Robert Lewis, just disappeared. Like, you know, it wasn't even his real name to begin with. He lied about that. He shut his Facebook account and Facebook group down, his Twitter account. his website shut down, and then he just disappeared off the face of the map. And it was funny because when he joined us, I was telling people like Eric, who was with Freethink. Mm-hmm. I told Eric, look, this guy is not Canadian. Listen to the way he talks. He's got a southern accent. The guy sounds like he's from Texas. Oh, no, he's from Montreal. No, this guy is not from Montreal, man. You know, and then surely, all the infiltration started. We all got booted out. Some left, and then this guy just disappeared.
Well, then what is the story about they're being picked up by Fox? I mean, or Fox is funding them, or Murdoch?
Well, Nelson posted on a group that they signed up for Fox online.
Is that? I mean, I haven't researched that. Is that accurate information, Chris?
That's accurate information.
Holy shit!
Yeah, they had Nelson tried to cover it up. He removed the post, but I got it on screenshot. And then he's like, "You lied." I'm like, "No, I didn't lie. You posted it, so how could I lie?" And he's like, it was a joke. I wanted to see how naive truth seekers were. Again,
though, like we were talking, or I should say we were posting, because it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Mm-hmm. We have to attack, like I said on that last post, we have to attack the disinformation, not the people, because, all right, reveal them as a shill. Obviously, you have to say this is shill, but going after the people is rudimentary because,
they're not real.
They're phony.
Yeah,
but they try to discredit things. Like, for example, I had a post, and this is a great example, and I really shouldn't have erased it. Now in the future, I'm gonna leave it there. But it was on. You mentioned my son's posting and how you like that.
Yeah.
And somebody posted on there that I was a conspiracy theorist kook or something along those lines, prodding my son again. And then I clicked on the guy's name, the click, and it went to a valid page that said there's no videos there, there's like 10 views, that kind of thing. And I realized that it was definitely, one of these type of, somebody's either being paid by the NSA or the CIA or somebody, they just like anytime you get, to try to put this disinformation out there.
Yeah.
And as simple as that was, it was a dumb thing. So I did respond, but then I ended the post and I blocked the guy. I'm not going to do this in the past. In the future, I'm going to do what you did. That was a smart move, and I really should have done that. I should have filmed it. I should have kept it, even if I was going to delete it. I should have shot it because I've got all this video and all this stuff. But I didn't, and again, I'm learning every day, man. Every day I learn about what to do against these criminals. But the truth is, that's what happened, and it really made me mad to say that, fuck you, man. My son decides he's showing, what am I doing wrong? That's what really got me mad, is that he was saying, it's true, because you saw the video. The kid is showing this huge government that's real strong, and the people are bitching about it, and nobody's supposed to complain. That's what I'm saying. It's like, it's like this whole thing. It's like this big government that they did not have it. That's not the way it is. And the people are complaining, but nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And they don't. They don't address it. I mean, again, it's like Charlotte Iserbyt with I read that book, The Deliberate Dumbing Down of America.
Yeah.
And the eco-fascist, eco-science, all these people, all these. She at least understood in '81 that they were moving towards this Agenda 21, which was like not even really. It was sort of like in the conceptual stages. I mean, the Rockefeller Foundation reports are just drive me crazy, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't even believe it. And you show it to people, you send them links,
and they won't look at it.
And if they won't look at it,
they'll read the first headline, and then
they won't. It's 136 pages. That's in Zoom, but you'll read a 600-page fucking novel.
Yeah.
Think about that. I just can't understand people. You can send the links to 68. The critical year, 68, 66 were critical. There was in the 70s, there was a couple of years, I forget, I'd have to look back at my research. But I know 85 or 86 is where they said, oh yes, we're moving along with this.
I downloaded and I printed the Henry Kissinger 1975 memorandum on depopulation, which is quite long.
Miranda 200. Memoranda 200, yeah. Right.
And I circulated to people at work, and I told them, look, go home.
Read it.
read it.
It's 4 pages long, or not
You
even.
know?
It's like 3 pages. It's nothing.
No, they wouldn't even dare. They're like, I don't want to read
It's only
this shit.
it's like, I think it's less. I think it's 2 or 3 pages. I remember it's very easy to read. No problem. We are just going to depopulate the Indians
and they wouldn't read it, you know. And then one person did read it and came back to me and said, "Well, it's just one man's point of view." I was like, "No, it's not one man. It's an entire.
It's an agenda."
Yeah.
God, these people are. I don't get it, Chris. I don't get it. I really don't.
You know, like one nurse came up to me, Nikki, good person. She came up to me and she's like, because she just added me on Facebook a few days ago, and she's like, "I seen all the strange postings on your wall." Right? I'm like, okay, what's strange about it? She's like, all that weird, you know, anti-government stuff. She's like, did you ever see Loose Change? I was like, yeah, years ago. And she's like, I just watched it like a few months ago.
Well, she's just waking up.
Yeah, but check this out. She's like, I don't believe any of it. I was like, how can you not believe any of it when there's factual evidence there? If you took that to court, in a court of law, Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld...
Jail
or the death penalty.
Death penalty, actually, yes.
She's like, no.
Oh, no. Conspiracy theory.
I told her, next time you watch it, don't smoke a joint.
Exactly. Or wake up or something. You know, I don't really get it, Chris. It just blows my mind. I just can't stand it. Listen, I have a friend, a good friend. I'm not going to give names.
Yeah.
And, she's on my Facebook, and she like really, and again, it's always attacking. Nobody ever criticizes you when you're dealing with vaccines or 9/11. It's always an attack. I mean,
well, I find when they criticize you or
I would prefer criticism over an attack,
especially when it's a truth seeker. If there's a truth seeker criticizing what I'm saying, then I know it's a legitimate truth seeker. Yeah, no, but if it's somebody attacking, then I know that ain't no truth seeker.
No. This is people that I know. What I'm saying is that I've got people that are on my Facebook and friends that I for many years, and some of them I know I've alienated because of the way I've woken up and the research I've done, and it is sort of a remarkable thing, and I have to liken it to something like you're either going to have an epiphany for evil or an epiphany for good. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if you believe in God, if you have a higher power, or whatever it is. Everybody's got their own thing. You know, personally, I have my own religious beliefs, but that's the point. You have to believe in something, but really understand that you can't just say, I believe in God, or I believe in Jesus, or I believe in Muhammad, or I believe in Allah, or whatever it is, or I believe in whoever, or I believe in Buddha, without understanding that there's an opposite evil to that.
Well, exactly.
So how can you dismiss the fact that it's there? And in essence, there's going to be more evil because good people don't accept that evil happens.
Well, yeah, it's like people in general, right? You have good people, like, you know, who are just born good, who will do everything to help people, who will do everything to make sure other people's lives are put before theirs. So how come some people conceptualize that there are people out there who do worship these negative energies and are pure evil?
Exactly. And you really, like, it looks crazy, man, because when you get into it, it really is true. It's about forces. And having really been like, I'm a musician, I'm a guitar player, I've played in bands, I've gone on the road, I've done a lot of things in 20 years. I've seen a lot of things, and as an I was asleep all the time.
Yeah.
I was, but I mean, I always was like, I was never like, I mean, I saw people that were doing weird shit, but I was never like, took it seriously, or it was a joke, or these people are just idiots, but I didn't realize it was actually real. I mean, I'm definitely, I'm Catholic, it's like, I didn't, like, I saw people that were around. I mean, I even like did a lot of research. I mean, because Jimmy Page, of course, was a big influence on my music. So at the time, especially when I was younger, so I understood all about that and like all the but I was like a peripheral thing. It was just like the mainstream media point of view of it. Was it Satan? Like all those dumb like cream headlines. Was it Satan? Was it because they worship Satan? Is that why they had bad fortune? Bad misfortune after all their wealth and ruling the world? Well, it really comes down to it. Zeppelin is a great example. I mean, I hate to say it because they're really always have been a great. How can you? Even though I woke up several years ago, the more time I was a big Zeppelin fan than that. But they're New World Order to the core. I mean, it's just frightening, bro. I mean,
It's like U2.
What was that?
The group U2.
Oh, U2 again. Well,
my God.
They're the ones that it's even more insidious because it appears so. They appear, all about this. Listen, with all the money all these motherfuckers have made. Excuse my French, Canadian. But wouldn't it be like no poverty and everybody should be healthy and good and there should be a lot of wealth and everybody should be happy? No. Just keep sending to CARE and keep sending to UNICEF and
when I'm watching
United Way.
The mind control television.
Oh yeah,
right, with my fiance.
It makes me want to puke 3 times a night.
Yeah, and the advertisement comes on for please donate to UNICEF. I sit there and my fiance, she's always like, please turn off the channel. I can't look at these hungry kids. So I tell Emily, I'm like, Emily, no, you got to watch it because you got to understand something because she's like right at the cusp of being a sheeple and starting to wake up.
Yeah.
And so I tell her, I was like, look, with all the money around the world, why are they asking people like you and me who have just regular jobs to donate money when these multi-billionaires with just $1 billion here could save that entire country? Think about it.
Oh, yeah, the United Way is the biggest fraud. Let me tell you something. Interestingly enough, I have more globalist connections than I care to admit, but I mean, of course I'll admit it because it's just the truth. But again, it was compartmentalized truth. My father was, and I'll post some of these pictures so you can see it. I've got pictures with my dad on with like Walter Mondale running for president and like literally on stage with Ellen Burstyn and Paul Newman right next to him and. He met all these people. I met a lot of people. I've been in the White House when I was 11 years old. I met Jimmy Carter. I mean, he's very short, by the way. I remember that. It was like astounding to me how I thought he looked so much. He looked so much bigger. But I really did have a lot of. He was one of the top vice presidents in the International Ladies Garment Workers Union, which is now called Unite. But again, typical globalist fashion. What they did to him is a very interesting story. Now, he retired in 1985, the year that I graduated high school. So it was really nice, so his whole, and he lived until, unfortunately, he passed away in 2008. But he lived a long time, in retirement, right? My father retired in 1985, and everything was great. He had a great pension, everything's good. Now, in 2003... interestingly enough, after all this collapse and all this fraud that was that they started to put into place with Glass-Steagall and everything else, the unions merged. The ILGW merged with another union called the Needle Trades Union and became Unite, with also. Now they're also including SEIU, which is like the service industry union. And what they did was they claimed poverty. Meanwhile, they sold a building worth $60 million and sent my dad, he retired in 85. He had a $150,000 life insurance policy that they reduced to $5,000.
Yeah.
And said they were broke. So the union officers, like my dad, there were about 130 of them. Now, some of them, of course, subsequently died before the actual settlement. But they literally claimed poverty and cut everybody's insurance, and everybody had to pay this, either get a lawyer, because we did. They got lawyers, and they had to pay for this, it was like $800 or $900 a piece for everyone. They got this suit going, and they did actually make a settlement on 50%. So the lawyers got rich, as typical fashion. The benefits were cut in half. And interestingly enough, I discovered that Jay Mazer, who was the president of the ILGWU and Unite, was a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Yeah. Now, he retires in the middle of the lawsuit. they cut his benefits, and all of a sudden he jumps on the bandwagon for the lawsuit. So isn't that ironic? A globalist, you know, that actually literally engineered this takeover. They fucked him when he retired, and then he said, "Oh, I'm just gonna, you know, I'm gonna sue too." It's on record. You can like go down. It's Amalgamated Bank merges with. You can Google it. Amalgamated Bank merger with Unite Union. Basically, lawsuits. There's a lot of lawsuits. Anyway, so they settled this whole bullshit, and again, it's a globalist takeover, and now the unions are all being consolidated, the ones that have no power, and being brought into like sort of like they think that they have this labor power, but it's not. It's just more money sucking out of your paycheck with nothing, and then when the benefits come due, you know, we're not going to have them. Just like it happened to my dad. Yep. They're going to do the same fucking thing. Now, it's perfectly true. It's on record. It happened. And what makes you think it's not going to happen again and it's not going to be multiplied, just like the mortgage meltdown?
Oh, it's going to happen again.
It's going to get
worse.
Sure.
It's going to be far worse.
Far worse. The worst is coming. This is nothing. I mean, at least I was able to settle for something. There's going to be a point where they're going to literally actually, on paper, have nothing because the paper is useless, anything. And they're going to say that all these assets are negative, and I'm sorry, our cash flow is negative, and the dollar is now worth, 45 cents, and yep. I'm sorry, that you can't make your payments on your taxes, which, it's just unbelievable, How can we make this seem a little bit more mainstream to the folks so that they don't just think that we're crazy from the get-go?
I think
the hardest part is trying to... Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Howard. Well, personally, for me, stick to the facts.
Yeah, the facts, right? But you look like a nut, But it's like, and it's like, and I'm just trying to figure out a way to a pitch, for lack of a better word, that is softer to the mind, so that they open. In other words, like softer to the mind that opens the pitch, like. I made I put the radio show on my Facebook, and I got people that responded. I haven't checked it again today, but 27 people quickly said no, and about 18 people quickly sort of said yes. And I was just thinking about that. Wow, that's interesting, What the controlled mainstream media doesn't tell you is our top news.
Oh, indeed.
That is the whole point. So. It says to me that maybe there's a way, maybe it's not, people are just dismissing me as a conspiracy theorist. And that's our biggest challenge is how do we wake these fucking people up without them just dismissing us, without there having to be terrorist attacks and everything that we predict to be true ends up becoming true because they haven't looked and saw that we've reported it or said that it was going to happen.
That's a question, Howard, right? And a statement that I don't have an answer for
yeah,
because I've tried multiple different ways,
I know,
different avenues of trying to reach people.
I know.
At first I would be gentle, and I would just give them the information and ask them to read or research it themselves, and they wouldn't take the time.
Right.
Then I got to the point where I became very just like furious over it, and I was just like, try to force them to do it, which was far worse, by the way. And then I just sort of gave up, and I would just post and see if anybody out there who was not awake or, what we would define as a sheep.
Has the intelligence to just look beyond what people say. See, with the disinformation clowns and all the bullshit and all the, it really does make it difficult to find truth. And then what I'm trying to say is I have friends, people that known me all my life, I know that I've gotten through to a lot of them, honestly. But there are some of them, that just like dismiss me as being this conspiracy theorist because of that CIA slide response that they've created through this media,
anything that mainstream media shows and that we go up against, they're going to label us conspiracy theorists.
It's unbelievable. But how can you not see that?
It's like 9/11, right, Howard?
Right,
9/11.
Right.
Remember 9/11? Right after it happened, you had Giuliani, Bush, Cheney. Every third or fourth word was terrorist, terrorist, terrorist.
Right.
And it drilled into the people's head. It's the same as this. You know, you turn on your mainstream media, they start calling people like Tony Bennett an old kook or a senile or a conspiracy theorist. You say it 5 or 6 times, people are gonna. It's like mind control. It's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what it is. Hit nail on the head, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, listen. As in closing, I'm very honored to be part of the Informed Radio family, and I see a lot of truth coming in our future, and you know, death to the New World Order, like Harry Link always says, and
yeah. God love Harry.
Harry's awesome, and we all, like I said, one way or another, we all must physically, you know, somehow physically be in the same place at once.
Well, listen in to Harry Link's show Monday night at 10 Eastern. If you can, I'll be on his show talking about symbology, numerology.
Oh, interesting. You know, I had some things that came across that recently. There's a mantra, or I should say the thing with 5 with the company names and their slogans that have to do with syllables. Is that?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I uncovered that recently. That is something that I've just started to do some research on, and I thought that was fantastically obvious.
Well, when I mentioned 10 or 12 of them, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people, a lot of truth seekers jump on my back because they're like, oh, that's New Age stuff, but they don't understand, right? That mathematics is a universal language. So, for sure, the Illuminati are going to use a series of numbers. Oh,
yes, of course. It's all numerology.
Yeah, for sure.
It's architecture. Come on, that's where it comes from. Yeah,
exactly. So I'll be breaking that down.
And then it's ironic that they bring buildings down perfectly, right? Because they're architects. Yeah. Come on, of course.
A 9-second free fall.
It's hilarious when you break it down because, well, they're obviously not literal architects, these people, but they use that symbolism, you know, of...
Well, when you plan something in terms of a scale, when you want to build a house, Freemasons or stonemasons, you know, back in the day, would use angles, which is mathematics, to build. Absolutely.
You give them facts, and like, for example, if you were to show these people, I'll use a JFK, the Garrison thing from JFK, when he said, physics says that you could hang an elephant from a cliff. He can hang and hold his tail around a daisy and it'll support him. But use your mind and think, like, could that really happen? Of course not. So what you're trying to do is, with all of these things, is defy physics. And now rename physics and radiation levels that's safety. Because all of a sudden they're not safe. But it's beautiful. Let's cook humanity while we take the proper precautions against it, but humanity generally doesn't. And they'll live 20 years less, and they'll eat GMO foods that'll, after 3 generations, destroy their offspring.
Their daughter will be born with 3 titties and 4 eyes.
And not only that, forget about the mutations, the Island of Dr. Moreau bullshit and crazy, insane lunacy. Think about the fact that, like, my son's, unfortunately, well, he's awake, and thank God, and he eats organic food, and you know, we don't eat the you know, the stuff. He doesn't take any big pharma drugs, no inoculations anymore, at least since I've woken up. I'm just waiting for somebody to make mention that he didn't take his shots because he's 12. He's not getting them. I just signed a waiver, but nobody said anything. The school never called me. But they said, oh, they might call you. They made this big thing. Oh, yeah, oh, this is unusual. Oh, you know, like as if, oh, you're going to watch out. They're going to call you. You know, again, just like, you know, if you see something, say something, you know, with the propaganda for the terrorism.
Well, see, this goes with the sheeple, right? If they were truly awake and worried about the school, if it was their own kid, worried about the school calling the parent and, you know, try to force the child to get inoculation.
Well, what about
they should look behind
California?
The fucking education system and see that it's the Rockefeller family that built the education system.
Absolutely. Not to mention the fact that now California is giving without, you don't have, I don't know if you got this intel yet, but California's the governor's about to sign a law, if he hasn't signed it already, that children that are 12 years old can be inoculated at school without parental consent.
Yep. I've been seeing that all over Facebook.
It's absolutely true, my friend. You know, again, this tyranny is just it's just rising, and in our unity is our strength. And I don't know what else to say. You know, brother, it's just amazing.
Well, I know what to say, Howard, that stay awake, stay united, live free, and just keep on kicking the teeth in of the Illuminati.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. It's like people aren't willing. You know, you try to wake them up, and then of course, because the psychological first response is this resistance.
And not only that, but I find that with those who are not awake, they don't think, okay, they don't think that it's personal to them.
Right, they think it doesn't apply to them. They think somehow that this is affecting, well, it is obviously affecting people in third worlds and others, but not realizing that we're the next third world.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the truth.
We're living in the empire, unfortunately.
Exactly, it is an imperialist empire.
Falls.
Hey, I'm a dinner jacket, you know? I'm a dinner jacket. You know, what he said at the UN, I didn't agree with everything he said, but honestly, I hate to say it, but he was on mark with 8 out of 10 things.
Yep.
I mean, he was on the mark about our imperialist America and the West, and they all walked out because he was exposing them. But of course, he ruined it by having to, you know, like, again, get into this whole, like, idea of eugenics. Anytime you want to wipe out anybody is not the right way to, you know, he didn't, if he had left out, I mean, we all know Palestine deserves a state, and Obama is against Palestine having a state now. First he says he's for it, now he's against it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this bullshit flip-flop. You know, the Rothschilds own Israel. They're always going to, and they're always going to have tyranny against those under them. And the thing they don't understand, the masses don't understand, is that the Rothschilds, Jews as they are, and they are Jews, were behind the whole Nazis, as well as Rockefeller, to exterminate the Jews.
Oh yeah.
So that's because they're eugenists. Again, these weren't the Jews of caliber, or they weren't the proper blood that they were interested in as far as being the upper class.
You got to think that these people, okay, that we talk about, these New World Order Illuminati scumbags, number one, they don't adhere to any race. They don't adhere to any religion, ideology. To them, they are in a class of their own. Everything other than them, they consider parasitic.
Well, I understand that, Christopher, but please, you know, you must not expose us to the truth of the tyranny that we are really not Jews, we are Germans, and we are Nazis. Come on, you're a conspiracy theorist, Christopher.
I'm a bloody nut job, mate.
It's incredible that the Rothschilds can get away with it, and then but they really have mind controlled us. They mind fucked us with the CIA and all of that Mockingbird and Project Monarch and all the stuff in the 40s and going into the 50s before MK Ultra, before Dr. Cameron. By the school you went to school, you said you went to McGill University. Isn't that not true?
Yep.
Holy Christ, that you went to. So did you actually ever go to the Allen Institute?
Yeah, I did a stage there, training there for 4 weeks.
That's incredible.
And I'll tell you, do you know
what's going on? You know, of course, obviously, what went on in that.
Oh yeah,
the horrors.
Went there, I knew.
It was horrors. I mean, that is amazing.
Check this out, Howard. There were about, say, I've observed 40 to 50 patients. Okay. Out of those, say 40, we'll give it a round number of 40. 35 of those patients were McGill University students.
Wow.
And for those out there who think that they do not do shock therapy anymore,
of course, the mind control still exists. They still do the same things, the same techniques. Dr. Cameron's studies didn't change. In fact, he was, you know, I read a great book. In fact, I should grab it because I have it inside, and for the title, it's such an awesome book. But it basically was written by the son of Frank Olson, or it was co-authored by the son of Frank Olson, who was, of course, thrown to his death after being fed LSD in 1953.
Oh yeah, he was thrown pretty far.
He was thrown from the Hotel Astor, I believe,
yep.
To his death. He didn't die, although there was actually, it was interesting. He didn't die right away. He was trying to make some sort of you know, commentary or something to a bellhop or something that had seen him fall or found his body. But his son went out there, and then of course they filed a suit because he didn't commit suicide, of course, just like Gary Webb didn't commit suicide, shooting himself twice in the head after exposing the crack cocaine epidemic in Los Angeles, right?
Just like Marvin Bush's babysitter, her car did mysteriously by itself run
her
twice.
over, yes, twice, to kill her, make sure she was done. The first time wasn't good enough. No,
must have been a ghost driving.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to understand what's really going on, but then it goes against the belief systems. Like, that's what's really interesting about that 9/11 film that I posted from the Architects and Engineers, which is not actually released. I was humbled to see from their organization. They actually had a viewing for We Are Change, and they let me film it, and I posted it and put it on the internet. It's got about 500 or 600 hits already. It's not bad. Yeah, it is good. The end of it is talking. In fact, the end of it is real important. The last 20 minutes or so is all psychologists and psychiatrists talking about how belief systems are difficult to overcome, and how the mind processes trauma. It was really interesting. I mean, the best stuff I've seen on the 9/11 phenomenon, quote unquote, because everybody literally went through shock that day. It was a shock on the world.
You have to send that to me, Howard.
I'll send it to you as soon as we're done with this call. Again, I mean, we could literally talk forever, bro. I mean, you are my partner in liberty and freedom, and I can't wait to get up to the Great White North and do my thing. Well, listen, check out the Star Spangled Banner posting I just posted. I'm going to post this rant that is actually ready to be posted right now, and then of course I'm going to render this down and post it too. So just share it, and let's get everybody in the mojo and bring it. Let's bring this to the next level.
Don't assume it was left by accident. If you see something, say something.
They're just giving money to their buddies.
You want to abolish the Federal Reserve? Of course. I don't think that private institutions should have control over a nation's currency.
We need a manufacturing base, and then our economy will take off like a rocket again.
A special televised meeting of the New York-based Council on Foreign Relations provides a window to the real story. The speaker, Vice President Dick Cheney, takes a question from David Rockefeller.
Vice President, I just enjoyed so much your whole speech, but I was particularly pleased that you gave such a strong endorsement for the free trade agreement for all the Americas, subject that has been of great concern to me for many years, and particularly recently, and I think it's absolutely essential for the strength of our economy.